Welcome back to your favorite and the best 15 good minutes on YouTube and iTunes. Check that out. Here with you again is Kirk Genout, along with
Shasho Bob. Hey, y'all.
Hey. Kevin Love, Cleveland Cavaliers, DeMar DeRozan, Toronto Raptors.
Playoffs.
No.
What?
Mental illness.
Very true.
These two just opened up their platform and have been speaking out. And I commend them for doing that because it takes definitely a strong individual to do so, which Kevin Love, definitely stepped into that light after DeMar DeRozan, which he admitted to doing because he saw that somebody else was out there like he was suffering from depression.
But my question is, why come out now? Like, why wait to come out now? How long has he been in the league? A while, right?
Yeah, a year before Russie, and quite a few years after LeBron. LeBron been in 15, so maybe like 12.
So why,
something like that?
Being 12 years in the game, coming out now, using your platform for depression, why do you think it took so long?
I don't know about for them personally, but I know personally for myself, it's shunned upon. Like, it's a lot of things, not just, in the African American community, but in society, period. Like in any community, people don't want you to speak out and talk about, like, people don't like to speak out about their illnesses or their flaws. We like to hide those. We like to mask those things.
Yeah, I think because we're such a strong people, right? And I think some view that as a weakness, needing help or not being all the way, all together.
Yeah. For me, I suffer from mental illness. I was diagnosed with PTSD, postpartum. Postpartum. Sheesh. See how struggling and traumatized I am? Post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. I got 3 kids though, so I might be suffering postpartum too. I don't know. But yeah, like, I knew something was different. I wasn't who I was before, but I didn't know how to talk about it.
How to voice it.
And like, when you're in the military, they frown upon that. Don't say nothing. You're fine. You'll be all right. Jet lag.
Oh, really? Dang.
I was told it was jet lag. Take some ibuprofen and I'll be all right. But,
so yeah, there's a stigma attached to it. I think that they look at that and say you're not normal. That's a weakness. But also in the spiritual community, I think a lot of us, in a lot of our churches and things, they believe that you could pray it away, and that'll be it. But prayer works. Yes, it does. But I think also seeing a mental professional or a medical professional increases that help, right? But a lot of them just pray it away or trust God that it's going to go away and not make any further steps to kind of address that issue. I was reading, they're saying, out of the population in the United States, 13% or so blacks are identified with mental illness. That's the ones that speak out and go get help. So just imagine, that's 3.6 million people or something like that. Imagine the people that don't speak out. How many more of them are there in our communities that need that help?
I think the whole community probably got it from the things we going through right now in the world.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so trauma can create mental illness. I was working with a mental health professional. She was saying that trauma, your first trauma, regardless of if it's an abusive relationship or witnessing someone die or just something like you losing your phone on an interview day or something, can cause a ding. She said it was like a ding in your brain where it releases certain hormones that causes like a dent in your makeup of your brain. And then if you have another trauma like that, it creates a bigger dent. So if the dent is big enough, it can be transposed to your kids. It could turn into a genetic thing, which will cause mental illness in your genes. So your brain is kind of like making an adaptation to mental illness from your trauma. Or women, I know women were good for this. You deal with a man and they do you wrong, right? It's a ding. And then you mess with another man and they do you wrong, the ding gets bigger to the point where you don't trust any man. Or you get a really good man and you just keep finding something wrong with them. That's that mental piece that the trauma can create. I was like, wow, like that's really cool. So your brain is really, 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 really intact, in tune with everything that's going on around you. So I think that was very brave of them to come out, and I'm glad they did it because now look, all these people are coming out in the sports industry about it. But I also think like another thing that stops us from coming out is maybe bad experiences with doctors. Like a lot of professionals might not be culturally competent to work with African Americans. They might get a misdiagnosis. They might have been treated some way that they felt was unfair to them, so they refuse to go to the doctors. I know a lot of people that won't go to hospitals for that reason. They'll try to do something in the home to kind of be a remedy for whatever's going on.
Again, just speaking from my personal experience, things changed after my first deployment, 2008, 2009. I went to Iraq. Nothing crazy happened there, personally, to me, but the security force that was there, they were the Ugandans, and they were provided through Triple Canopy. A couple of the guys I had become friends with, like in a week, like 3 of them had committed suicide. And, you know, one, it was a long deployment. It was like 15 and a half months on top of, you know, new family, and you going through things within, like my son was born on my way to the deployment. I saw him at 6 months, and then I didn't see him again. Then these things were going on amongst everything else that was going on
So like
there.
trauma.
Yeah. There was no one to really talk to about. And like, you know, like the aggression is welcomed, but they don't teach you how to bring that aggression back down. So like I found myself keep hitting these
Always
walls
being hurt.
with these aggression, but not knowing how to be like chill. So like that was then, and then that carried with me until my last deployment, which was 2012 to 2013. I got out in 2013. And it wasn't until 2013 that I was actually diagnosed. Then it wasn't until like 2014 that I probably went to go get help.
Yeah.
Because like, they want to just give you a pill all the time, or put you in these groups. And I don't really want to hear, like I've personally felt like that was more traumatizing.
Because you're reliving it over.
To relive
over
not just my
and over.
situation, but then I have to listen to
it causes more
Snuff's.
trauma.
I have to listen to Snuffy's situation, and it's just like, I need a break. I don't need that. And this pill is not helping. Like, I took one of the, like the antidepressant pills that they gave me, and it had me feeling like I was in a fog.
So I'm so glad that you said that. So a lot of studies show that African Americans, I don't know, or blacks in general, those from the diaspora, something in our body makeup doesn't absorb certain medicines as our counterparts, right? So in turn, some doctors will make it a higher dosage, but then will cause you to be foggy. Because our body, I can't remember what it is, but our body doesn't take it up the same way. So that makes them foggy, which then creates that bad experience, or those side effects would cause you not to want to use that medicine anymore.
The whole situation was crazy. So I felt like a guinea pig. They started me on the lowest dosage possible when I told them that wasn't changing. Then they kept increasing it till I got to this fog.
Were you like a zombie?
I definitely didn't feel like me. You know what I mean? And I just had to just leave it all. I left it alone, period. Like I haven't taken the medicine. There are times, like I've noticed personally within myself though, like my lowest moments. And they're around those times that like the most traumatic things happened during those deployments. So like some months and some years I'm fine, but there are some times where like I might not leave the house for a week or two.
Is it around the same time where you were deployed? Like you mean like that? Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you do, if you don't mind me asking, what do you do to kind of like get yourself out of that loop? Do you like do yoga? Do you meditate? Do you work out?
I'm typically in the gym even harder than I normally am. And like those gym sessions last longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I'm in there. But I'm also like kind of fearful of being around people or in situations. Like 2014, I was playing in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy wasn't even being aggressive towards me. He was being aggressive towards someone else. But that person was on my team. And I said something to the guy. And he said something back. And initially I was like, bro, I'm not here for that. Like, we just here to play ball. It's a midnight league. It's supposed to be about peace. Let's just play ball. So I took a step back. But my training, my instinct, I'm not retreating. So don't come any closer. Because then we got a problem. He came closer. I let 2 quick ones go. He fell. I grabbed my stuff and I left. Like when I got home, like I'm not even afraid to admit this. Like when I got home, like I cried in my brother's arms. Like, you know, I didn't want to do it. But it's just like, again, like I can't turn that off. And then it's like this other frustration from other things that are going on that I can't, like, you can't erase it. But it seems like you just keep reliving it.
Over and over.
And then like sometimes in the process of reliving it, like I find myself trying to rectify it, like doing something to stop it from happening. Maybe to reverse it or. And it's nothing that you can do. And like it took me a long time to come to grips with, you know, I'm not crazy. That's human nature. Like you don't want to see your buddy laid out, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go through these certain things. It's just, I don't know, it's just one of the things you just got to keep talking to. Over the years, has it gotten better? Yeah, it has. But there are still times that like it can be tough.
It could be stronger than other days.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, like there's been times where it's like been weeks I haven't left the house. Yeah.
Well, I think that's an important part in that is having a good support system. So when people do notice like maybe your routines are off or some behaviors are a little different, like you're not coming out or you're not being as social as you usually are, where they can check on you or, you know, do whatever they need to do to kind of get you out of that. And I think the support system, that's where you need it the most, is in those times. But that's good. I'm happy that you're talking about it.
This is probably like monumental because I probably haven't spoken like this ever about it.
And then you can help so many other people that might not have anybody to talk to if they hear this and, you know, get your insight and they have those same feelings and like, oh, I feel like that too. It's an outlet for them, just like how the players did, you know, on their platform. You have a platform here. So I think that's very strong of you, and I think it's going to help a lot of people.
I hope so. Definitely do. And there's nothing wrong with going to get help.
Nothing at all, guys.
There are so many, honestly, if you're military, 1-800-ONE-SOURCE is there. There's nothing wrong with calling. There are people there on standby at all times to talk to. And there's like numerous hotlines, even for those who are not military, to reach out to just to have somebody to talk to. But what you don't want to do is keep harboring these feelings and then trying to feel like you can take it on your own. I'll be honest with you, the strongest man in the world, like you have a breaking point. Yeah. There are going to be things that can get you. And there's no need to.
And then if you
hit rock bottom to try and get back
and
up.
if you don't know who to go to, research it. A lot of times you can get some ideas of what to do in the meantime while you're getting getting to know a professional or understanding where you should go that's going to fit your situation. Because a lot of times doctors, like I know some people that have gone to the doctor and expressed physical symptoms rather than mental symptoms, and they get diagnosed with something different, like fibromyalgia. But all of these symptoms are because of their mental state. So just knowing who to go to that understands you and what you're going through, I think is very important.
They ask you I feel like every hospital or doctor's visit, they ask you on that sheet of paper, are you feeling depression? Like on a scale from 1 to 10, are you thinking about harming yourself? Are you thinking about harming others? They ask you about your mental state. Be honest when you answer these questions, like, because that's the only way that you're going to get help. And understand that just because, in you being honest, understand that this is only here to help you, to benefit you and those around you, because like if you have a family, if you have friends, they need you here. And it's nothing Like, you don't want to leave somebody here asking, well, why? Why didn't they feel like they could come talk to me, you know?
And you don't want to get help when it's too late, where something is just much more difficult to overcome.
You don't want to be forced into help, no. You definitely don't. You don't want to be in a situation that costs you more to get out of than it did to get in it.
I think also, like, every day, like, and I do it for myself, and check your levels. Like I asked you earlier, like, what's your levels? Like, check your levels, identify your emotions, because our brain continuously runs and runs and runs. It releases hormones, it releases chemicals, it doesn't stop. Our job is to check ourselves to make sure everything is balanced. So if I'm feeling a little bit more angry that day, what can I do to kind of lower that angry level and maybe increase my joy level? Sometimes for me, it's just running. Like, running is like my thing. If I'm angry, bruh, I'll run and then got to figure out how to go home.
Way these
Be like,
knees,
oh no, I ran all the way there.
way these knees and these lungs set up.
They're starting
That
to
gonna
say
be-
coloring now. Like, doctors are starting to push more adults to color again because it releases some hormone that relaxes you. Love it releases a hormone, oxytocin. Love is a drug for real.
Wrap it for you think. Don't be making babies, man. Don't be making babies out here talking about I'm depressed. You be more depressed.
But there's a lot of things. Keeping your routine, I think keeping your routine strict is important for certain situations too. Knowing what you're going to do every day. But yeah, check your levels. Every day do a self-check. Meditate, pray. Get in tune with yourself and understand what you need to do to balance yourself out for that day. And then you need to get help. Talk to somebody. Talk to someone you trust.
I beat up on Ye not that long ago, but something he did say made a whole lot of sense, and it's something I'm trying to take into account for myself. But when you wake up in the morning, instead of reaching for your phone, try and take like an hour away from your phone when you first wake up to allow your mind and your body and your imagination to reset, reload, and get prepared for what you have in front of you. You know what I mean? I did it once. It was quite beneficial. Like, that day was like really... Some people will say I don't work and I'm not, and so on and so forth, but that day was really a productive day. It was a great day for me.
I wake up, I do my, like, I thank God for just the things that I have. That's the thing I do. I might not say it out loud, and I just might say it to myself. Just giving thanks just for another day, regardless of what is happening. It sets my tone.
You better praise him. Get
But it sets the tone of my day, and then I check my levels.
So when you say check your levels, how can they check their levels?
Just be in tune with yourself. Like, how are you feeling at that moment or this week? How has your emotions been feeling? I was working with a mental health professional not too long ago, and she actually like printed out like pictures of beakers, like the science beakers, and she had me label each beaker with an emotion, and then she had me color in what level that emotion was just for a week's period of time. And then I had to look to see which ones were higher, which ones were lower, and I had to evaluate why was that higher? Why was my anger level higher this week and my joy level was lower? And then she asked me, what could I do to reverse it? And then sometimes, when you have an anxiety isn't always bad. Anxiety is a natural emotion that you might feel in a certain situation, either to get you out, or if you're just nervous about a good thing, you get anxious, right?
People try to, I don't want to say people, but like most often though, when people think of anxiety, they think of it as a bad thing.
Yeah, and
like, I'm having an anxiety attack.
Right.
You know
It's
what
an
I mean?
emotion. Like, you can totally have an anxiety attack and be
Why are you
happy
calling it anxiety?
because they're calling it an anxiety attack, but sometimes they really aren't.
What is it? Is it a heart attack?
No.
Because that's what they say. They say an anxiety attack feels like a heart attack.
But now, like, I think anxiety and anxiety attacks have been used so much in this generation that I don't think all the time they're that.
When I get anxious, I pass out.
That's different, bro.
Boom. I'm gone. I'm out of
You're
here.
on the floor knocked
Knocked out. Give me a few minutes.
But I think, yeah. But no, anxiety is not bad. In certain situations, yes. But it's an emotion. There's good and bad.
Because you can
to
be
it.
anxious, good at anxiety, good
And
anxious.
then being overly happy isn't good either because you can't get work done. If your happiness levels are super high, you gonna get some of the stuff done. You can't focus. Sometimes anxiety makes you focus. So it's a balance. You gotta have a balance.
Gotta get is that pH balance?
Get them levels checked.
Them
Check your levels.
Check your levels.
Check your levels. There's levels to this. Meek Mills. He's out. He's free.
He is.
But yeah, check your levels. If you recently experienced trauma, check your levels. Maybe talk to somebody.
Be mindful of what you're putting into your body as well as your mind, though, as well. You know what I mean? Like watching what you see on TV, the shows you watch, the news you following, the news outlets you following, social media, the pages and the people that you following. Understand that all of these things can play a part on your psyche. And
Definitely.
Be mindful of that energy that you bring on. You can end up adopting and then taking on somebody else's problem. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, evaluate who you surround yourself with. Totally. Your energy is key. Energy is very valuable. So.
All right, DJ Khaled, you on the road with the hip hop thing, keys and levels.
What else did he say? What he say?
You smart.
Yeah. You smart. Get help, guys. Talk to someone. Create a support group. Research.
Yep.
And hit Kirk up if you want people to hit you up.
I'm here as best as I possibly can be for you.
Something similar, if he could provide insight, I think that would be awesome.
If you're selling hair though, don't come by. I'm not helping you.
If another weave site follows
you.
me on Instagram,
I'm blocking you.
How do they find? Where did they come from?
Hey, check us out on Instagram. I'm Kirkin out. This is Shaslell _. We also have our own page, 15 Good Minutes. We're on YouTube. Subscribe, 15 Good Minutes. iTunes, podcast, subscribe, review, comment.
Share with your friends. If you know somebody that might have some symptoms of mental illness, whether it's depression, anxiety, PTSD, schizophrenia, share it with them. Help them get help.
Don't label them.
Yeah, don't. Please
Walk with
don't.
them.
Yeah, it takes a village.
Definitely.
Until next week.
See you.